Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. It's not enough that Sharon is dealing with her bipolar disorder again, but she's now had to revisit a mother's worst nightmare on Young and Restless, getting the call that your child has been in an accident. Throw in visions of Cassie and the not-so-little devil on her shoulder, Cameron, and you got a recipe for, well, going dark. It's gonna happen. And when it does, spoiler, had better look out. There's a lot going on in Sharon's med-free mind right now. She's hallucinating her dead daughter, not to mention the ghoul that she stabbed to death and fantasizing about making out with her ex-husband. All the emotions appear to be entangled in the events surrounding Cassie's accident and the aftermath, which, we're to believe, Sharon has never properly dealt with, despite becoming a therapist herself. Leading the charge to sort out this mess is none other than Cameron Kirsten, Sharon's tormentor whilst alive and confidant as a dead man. She, of course, ended his life after he took Faith captive and went on to inherit his company, Kirsten Incorporated, renaming it Cassidy first after her late daughter. At this point, everything including the company is falling by the wayside as Sharon grapples with the return of her bipolar disorder, ignores her family's pleas to reach out to her doctor, and spends her time giving people intensely strange looks, snapping at them, or talking to the deceased. Cameron figures she's conjured him up out of guilt, but Sharon's unconvinced. He's not exactly a hallucination, but whatever he is, he's about to get her into trouble. Young and Restless spoilers tease that Cameron encourages Sharon to revisit her dark side, and we now know the catalyst for her doing so. A terrifying repeat of history. Faith landing in the hospital unconscious after attempting to drive a drunken Lucy home is just too similar to what happened to Cassie. Back then, it was Daniel, not his daughter, who was drunk, and Sharon's daughter attempted to drive her crush home. They wound up in a car wreck, much like Lucy and Faith, and it was clear that it was just all a little too much déjà vu for Shar to handle in her current state. After the details came out, Sharon had to step away from the girls in their hospital beds, and physically staggered, leaning on a wall for support as she bore the weight of it all. That, of course, is when Cameron appeared. There's no doubt that given her state of mind, Sharon will be subconsciously looking to assign blame for this incident. She could turn on Daniel, since it's his daughter's instability that caused this whole mess, and he played a role in the tragedy from the past. But we think she'll look to someone else to take out her anger out. Someone else who fits into the big picture, dating all the way back to Cassie's accident. Cameron thought that Sharon was somehow blaming Cassie for the end of her marriage, but she vehemently denied that was the case. Perhaps that's because she blamed someone else. Someone who just happens to not only have gotten with Nick amid the pain of Cassie's death, but whose son was in the car. Someone whose granddaughter just brought about the latest incident. If you guessed Phyllis, you guessed right. If Sharon's looking for a target, who better than her former rival to unload her pain and anger on? Making matters worse, Nick's been hanging out with the redhead, which ain't gonna go over well under the circumstances. Sharon's a boiling pot ready to explode, and Phyllis, we're certain, is about to get burned. Perhaps it's for the best that Phyllis takes the brunt of Sharon's anger. Red's a tough cookie, and can handle it better than the fragile Lucy or the guilt-ridden Daniel. Given that Nick had confided in Phyllis to some extent about Sharon's struggle, she'll have some idea of what she's dealing with. But as we're all aware, she can only take so much before she loses control. So this could get ugly. Moreover, we're not sure how far Sharon, with Cameron coaching on the sidelines, will run with this ball. Might she descend so deeply into darkness that she decides Phyllis needs to lose something, or someone, to even the score? This could get not only ugly, but downright scary. Are you ready for a new, perhaps darker round of Sharon versus Phyllis? Tell us what you think will happen next in the comments. In the small town of Meadowbrook, where life seemed to drift lazily with the seasons, three names buzzed in whispered conversations, carried on the breeze like the scent of blooming wildflowers. Lucy, Daniel, and Phyllis. Each one a distinctive melody in the town's complex symphony. The question on everyone's lips was, whom would Emily Chase choose? Emily, a writer with a penchant for solitude and a deep well of empathy, had recently returned to Meadowbrook after a decade in the bustling city. Her novel, a poignant exploration of human relationships, had captivated readers far and wide. Yet, as she looked out from her quaint cottage, a new narrative was taking shape, one not written on paper, but in the contours of her life. Lucy was the town's heartbeat. She ran the local bookstore, a cozy haven filled with the smell of old pages and the promise of new adventures. Lucy was known for her warmth, her ability to make everyone feel at home. She had a magnetic personality, a curiosity that pulled people into her orbit. To Emily, Lucy was both a beacon of inspiration and a comforting presence, offering her insights into the rhythms of Meadowbrook's social tapestry. Then there was Daniel, the enigmatic artist whose paintings were as elusive as they were beautiful. His studio was a place of secrets and stories, and though he was reclusive, his art spoke volumes. Daniel's eyes, dark and intense, seemed to hold worlds that Emily longed to understand. Their conversations, though sporadic, were charged with unspoken connections and the thrill of exploring uncharted territories. Lastly, Phyllis was the town's wise matriarch, a fountain of local lore and enduring kindness. Her garden was a lush sanctuary, a testament to years of nurturing both plants and people. Phyllis had a way of knowing exactly what was needed, offering sage advice wrapped in the softest words. Emily found in her a mentor, a surrogate grandmother whose stories of the past wove a rich tapestry of wisdom and warmth. As Emily navigated her new life in Meadowbrook, the three individuals began to occupy more and more of her thoughts. Each person represented a different facet of the life she could lead, and the choice before her was more than a question of companionship. It was a question of identity, of the direction her life would take. Lucy's vibrant enthusiasm and unyielding belief in the beauty of everyday life offered Emily a chance to reconnect with the simple joys that had been overshadowed by the demands of city life. Their conversations, filled with laughter and shared dreams, painted a picture of a life filled with literary discussions, community involvement, and the pleasure of living in the moment. Daniel, on the other hand, represented a more enigmatic and intense path. His world was one of passion and mystery, where every conversation felt like peeling back layers of a deeply complex puzzle. With him, Emily saw a future that was unpredictable and exhilarating, filled with the possibility of profound connections and the exploration of the unknown. Phyllis's presence was like a comforting embrace, offering stability and wisdom. Her gentle guidance and deep understanding of the town's history provided Emily with a sense of belonging and continuity. A life with Phyllis promised a serene journey through the years, marked by a deep appreciation for the present and the lessons of the past. The decision weighed heavily on Emily's heart. She found herself torn between the allure of Lucy's warmth, the mystery of Daniel's art, and the stability offered by Phyllis's wisdom. Each choice represented a different path, a different version of the life she could lead. One afternoon, as Emily sat by her window, watching the golden hues of the setting sun cast long shadows over Meadowbrook, she realized that the answer lay not in choosing one over the others, but in integrating the qualities she cherished in each of them into her own life. Each person brought something unique, and perhaps the key was to embrace the richness that their individual qualities offered rather than confining herself to a singular path. In a moment of clarity, Emily understood that the choice wasn't about selecting one person to be with, but about how she could harmoniously blend their influences into her own narrative. She could continue to cherish Lucy's vibrant spirit, seek inspiration from Daniel's artistic depths, and draw wisdom from Phyllis's life experiences. As the days passed, Emily began to weave these elements into her daily life. Her conversations with Lucy became a source of joy and inspiration, enriching her writing with fresh perspectives. Daniel's art infused her creative process with a sense of mystery and exploration, pushing her to delve deeper into her own motions and stories. Phyllis's guidance offered a steady hand, grounding her amidst the chaos of creative pursuits and personal growth. Emily's decision was not to choose one path over another, but to embrace the fullness of her experiences and relationships. Meadowbrook, with its eclectic mix of people and possibilities, became the backdrop for her evolving story, a story not defined by a single choice, but by the harmonious integration of the many influences that shaped her life. In the end, Emily Chase's journey was not just about choosing between Lucy, Daniel, or Phyllis, but about discovering the essence of her own story and the ways in which the people around her enriched it. It was a reminder that sometimes the most profound answers come not from making a choice, but from understanding how to harmonize the many facets of our lives into a coherent and fulfilling whole.